A great morning to each and every one of you. And I hope you are doing well and recovering from what we have just titled the perfect storm. Our country has just experienced lots of scenarios or lots of incidences, and it's a cocktail of the social unrest and the looting that is said to be estimated to have an impact of about 15 billion on the national GDP. About 3,000 shops and 200 malls were looted. And as another cocktail into this perfect storm is the extended lockdown that continues to impact the businesses and employment. We're also seeing the deteriorating of the macroeconomic outlook and the third wave that is claiming lives in the most disheartening manner. Actually, what we are witnessing right now is the materialization of some of the risks that we have, either as Emsa or the risk practitioners have identified and highlighted in various risk reports and communicated from as far back as 2020. But we're also witnessing materialization of about two other disruptive risks. One, it's the heightened cyber attacks. And we know that the latest one is the Transnet. And we also learned that our president was reported as being one of the 14 leaders that were targeted in the spyware case. So this risk, specifically cyber attacks, is predicted to be the next massive disruption that is going to be worse than COVID. So as early as now, we need to start preparing as individuals, organizations, and as the country. The other one that we seem to be starting to see materializing as well is the climate change risk. We've witnessed the wildfires in the US and Canada, the destructive flooding in Belgium, Germany, and China. And definitely, it is time for the governments and the organizations as well to start to put the immediate responses. So as risk professionals, we need to understand that this chaos, this uncertainty and the complexity that is happening in our environment that we operate in is simply increasing, and seemingly it is here to stay. But we, as the risk professionals, would definitely take pride in that we're able and we're still continuing to identify those risks, and we're able to present them and discuss them with the relevant governance structures within our organizations. However, it goes without saying that with no actions being taken by those in the leadership to address some of these risks, they simply materialize right in front of us. But what did we then do as Emsa to respond to all these crises of the past week? One, we held an agent and a very high-profile panel discussion webinar, and it was titled Civil Unrest and SA's Future, to unpack the reasons for the unrest and also the next steps. So some of the root causes that were highlighted by the panelists were failed or broken intelligence structures, the issues of poor leadership, lack of political will to make impactful changes on the society, where they also mentioned the unstable country and our youth being unengaged. And they also mentioned the complex social and political system that was just waiting for insurrection. Also, the last one, or one of the others they mentioned, was the social contract that has now been broken and definitely will take time for it to be repaired. But what was nice is that they also further discussed some of the recommendations that we need to be doing at the country level. We need to be more future-orientated as a country with technically competent state and more socially orientated businesses. We also need to start appointing the right and experienced people in leadership positions in the work groups and in the advisory councils. Those people that really understand the complexity and allow for system thinking. Public-private partnerships were also highlighted as essential and critical for us to have. And also during the pandemic, we saw how the government adopted a risk-based strategy, and this should actually be done and adopted in every critical decision that we're making. With this said, the risk professionals were then challenged to move the conversations at the leadership level to focus on the future and zooming on where one really gets their power. Do we get our power from our history, or do we get our power from our future? As Emsa, to respond again, We did what we do best. We provided over 14,000 meals through Food Forward SA, and we did this to those individuals and communities that were most vulnerable and really affected by the looting. But what was most incredible is how corporates and individuals responded and worked together to ensure that we are able to assist in times of need. So, what is currently happening at Emsa? So our own new CEO, Pat Semenya, joined us from the 1st of July, and we're looking forward to more fruitful time with her. We also had 3 new additions to our ExCo that we voted at the AGM. And on our first ExCo meeting after the AGM, we also voted for the office bearers. So we'd like to thank the ExCo, the whole ExCo, the new ones and the ones that avail themselves as office bearers. We thank them for being available to serve, and we congratulate them on being elected. And we look forward to continue working with them. But I also want to appreciate those that are willing to be nominated as ExCo, and we'll make sure that we are able to, we're still going to be able to work with them and allow them to still contribute to the Institute. Okay. All right. So what is on the horizon within Emsa? You know that in the next month, we will be celebrating a Women's Month. So Emsa will be hosting Women in Risk and Leadership webinar on the 5th of August. That will be from 8 to 12 p.m. But important to note is that this webinar is not only limited to women to attend, as the conversations are pretty much relevant to anyone that is in leadership and in business. The second thing is the annual conference. We're going to be having it on the 29th and the 30th of September with a masterclass on the 1st of October. The registrations are currently open because this is one of those never to be missed digital experience. So, and what is interesting is that our program is based on the 8 key competencies that were identified in our 2021 EMSA risk report. Thirdly, is the award nominations. And this is the opportunity to showcase the excellent work that your organization has been doing and also acknowledge those individuals that stand out. The nominations, they close on Friday, the 20th of August. So get your nomination in soon. So as I close, EMSA members, they continue to step up in their risk management roles and within their dynamic teams, ensuring that effective and resilient organizations are being sustainable. We continue to witness the risk professionals navigating their way through the very uncertain landscape, and we encourage you to continue doing so, providing the insight and the foresight to your organizations. Encourage you to continue to challenge the leaders to indeed deal with the here and now, but also for them to lift their heads up so that they could focus on the future. As it said, we need to be future orientated. We need to drive the usage of risk-based decision strategies as the risk practitioners, and we are the ones that need to guide our businesses through this process and thinking. In my closing quote, it's better to solve the right problem approximately than to solve the wrong problem exactly. Thank you.